God, for the longest time, I mixed up which one was his first and last name.
Really?
Hulk and Hogan. But when I was little, before I
Oh, okay.
got super into wrestling, like I only knew of it kind of, and my friends would want to be like, I'm like Hulk Hogan, and I kept thinking Hogan was his first name, not Hulk.
Did you think Hulk was his last name then, or?
Yes.
All right.
The man. You have to beat the man.
Ric Flair.
So there's a blurred WWE logo. WWF.
Ric Flair, who uses almost his real name. Richard
What's
Flair.
his real name?
His last name, it's actually spelled F-L-I-E-H-R. I'm not sure precisely how that's, maybe it's pronounced Flair, I don't know. But yeah, Richard Flair.
Interesting.
Very long and storied career in the NWA, then WCW, and then finally WWF. One of the all-time great heels.
Yeah.
And by which I mean, of course, his appearance as the Black Scorpion. You familiar with the Black Scorpion, Nick?
No, I'm not.
You're not? Oh, okay. It was this
I don't know what you're
WCW.
talking about.
It was this WCW angle, all right?
Okay.
Where Sting, who was like, Sting, he was like, one of their big baby faces.
Yeah. Sting.
Sting started getting they started showing these weird vignettes where Sting would get these threatening messages from this scary hooded figure who spoke with like electronic distortion on his voice, so you couldn't tell who he was, right?
Right.
And he was deliver these ominous threats, ominous cryptic warnings to Sting about how he was coming for him, and he would do these weird, scary magic tricks. And then so they started, and so he would he appeared in a couple matches in the robe and hood. And the thing is, the Black Scorpion was actually a couple different people. In the original vignettes where he's talking about your Ric Flair, and he's like, it was actually Ole Anderson, just with his voice distorted. Then, when he actually came out and wrestled, he was a different guy. And because they still hadn't decided, backstage, they still hadn't decided who the Black Scorpion's identity was actually going to be.
Flying by the seat of their pants.
So then they finally had a match at Starrcade, which was kind of like WCW's Wrestlemania. I mean, that was like their biggest event of the year.
Right.
Where Sting and Ric Flair finally did battle, and Sting won and unmasked the Black Scorpion, who now turned out to be Ric Flair. And that was the end of the gimmick.
Interesting. Yes. That's awful. Okay.
Yeah, that was back in 1990. Probably not his finest hour.
So this is this is 92. Randy Savage versus Ric Flair, again for the WWE Championship, in my birth town, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Cool. Now folks, if you just go on YouTube and just look up Black Scorpion WCW, you can find it. Okay, so Flair is reigning champion at this point.
Yes.
Is that probably the brain, or
with Mr. Perfect?
Mr. Perfect. Okay. Kurt Hennig.
Yeah. The thing that bothers me, that is definitely not how Ric Flair wore the belt. I do know that when he would have his robe, he'd always have the belt underneath the robe so that he could show it off when he opened his robe up.
Ric Flair has the best theme music.
Yeah.
It's just so ludicrously grandiose.
I think it's great.
No, I mean that in a good way.
I love his comment about his robes, though.
What's that?
He's always like Mean Gene was asking him about it. He's like, yeah, these are great. Everyone should have them. You can pick one up for yourself if you've got $11,000-$12,000 just lying around. I got 15 of them at home myself. Woo!
Yeah, that was his thing back when he was with, like, especially like back when he was with, the Four Horsemen, who were like kind of the great heel stable of WCW. He's always be bragging about like, how incredibly rich he was and, this great, high flying lifestyle he lived. And
yeah. He's the limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing, son of a gun.
Yeah, something like that. Macho Man clothing is actually relatively subdued compared to the last time we saw him.
No.
He's sort of a golden cowboy pimp now.
Yeah, he's wearing a gold sequin jacket with a gold sequin cowboy hat.
With long rhinestoned tassels.
Yeah. And that's subdued. That's nuts.
He makes Flair's robe look downright sedate.
Gold pants too. See, those are more the Macho Man glasses I remember. Not the ski goggles.
Okay, yeah.
Those are like shutter shades before shutter shades became a thing.
Now, who are you playing this time?
I believe I'm Macho Man again. Defending the honor of Miss Elizabeth.
Well, I just wonder, is she part of the match stipulations now?
It seems like it. No, the story lead up to this
one
one
win by pinfall, submission, or seducing Miss Elizabeth.
It's like those pose contests that they don't have in WrestleMania anymore, which sucks. No. God, what was it? Ric Flair started taunting Macho Man about having been with Miss Elizabeth before Macho Man even came into the picture.
Oh, okay.
And like he was just calling him out continually, just trying to make trouble, being a good heel, which is funny. I don't know that this is his heel run, but it might be. This
would be like very early, like right when he wouldn't have been in the WWF very long at this point.
Right. I think something that they glossed over. Oh shit! He just poked my eyes. They glossed over was that Macho Man very recently actually just got back together with Miss Elizabeth, and I think married. It might have been in 7 or 6.
Is that one of the WrestleManias? Yeah. I think it might have been
reunited with Elizabeth.
Yeah, it was 7 or 6.
Yeah, I can't remember who he was running with in the time prior, but I know she was like a heel manager who was supposed to be like.
You mean the one that Macho Man was with?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like Sensational Sherry.
Sherry, yeah.
And then he lost, and then Sherry turned on him and was pummeling him.
Yeah.
But then Miss Elizabeth came to his aid.
He lost to Warrior?
What's that?
Did he lose to Warrior?
That sounds about right. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But whoever it was, yeah. Then Miss Elizabeth came to his rescue.
It's not looking good.
Uh-oh. Now, what are your objectives here?
I have to hit the elbow drop.
And pin Flair in 10 seconds.
Within 10 seconds of him, within 10 seconds of me hitting the elbow drop.
And win with a leverage pin.
I need to control the match flow. I don't have a whole lot going for me right now. Continual arm locks, drop. But yeah, so that was the whole angle, and then Macho Man declining interviews and not wanting to be asked about the situation. Oh shit.
Now Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, they actually were at some point married in real life, weren't they?
I thought they were.
I'm pretty sure they
for a very long time.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. It was honest to God news to me that she died, and that she was on drugs. I mean, I guess that's what happens with stars, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, it's and I mean, wrestling is a very high Mortality business, sad to say.
Yeah, it's way higher than like even just traditional entertainment, which is weird to me.
Well, it's like part of it. Well, steroids are part of it,
Right.
and like just sort of the. I mean, they're not actually fighting, but still, can be very physically punishing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I mean, that takes a toll on your health, and some people deal with like painkillers and whatnot. And also, one of the things about reasons for steroid use is not only does it make you stronger, but it makes you heal faster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that I'm encouraging people to use steroids, but
No, always a bad thing.
like you recover from injuries faster. So if you're working a really grueling schedule, but yeah, it's partly it's like just as general celebrities tend to often use drugs and whatnot. Partly it's like I said, partly steroids and other performance enhancing stuff, the injuries, the drugs taken in response to injuries.
Right. I do know that that's why a lot of performers later in the business avoided that sort of thing. Mick Foley, known more famously as Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, declined painkillers for almost all of his injuries except for Hell in a Cell '98.
Is he afraid of getting addicted?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I know Hell in a Cell '98 against The Undertaker.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that may well have been wise.
Yeah. Except for the life-threatening bumps in his life, he declined painkillers.
Damn.
And so yeah, a lot of the wellness policies currently in place in professional wrestling are designed to prevent addiction and stuff. Evan Bourne, who's one of the high flyer wrestlers. Oof, he's gonna put me in a figure 4.
Wait, someone's coming down to the ring.
Yep, that's Miss Elizabeth. And again, in story, she's coming to support her husband, which she really should have done.
Now, what's that? Why does it say
times.
breaking point there? What's that mean?
So this is the submission meter.
Oh, okay.
So this is where I mash to avoid
tapping out. Okay.
A submission move, figure 4 leg lock, sleeper hold, that sort of thing.
Okay.
John Cena's SDF. Oh God, I'm really beat up.
So resilience is sort of like your will or something, almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, resilience is a skill. It's
it's a specific game. Oh, like it's actually a name of a game. Okay.
Yeah, and so, like the comeback skill will let you get back onto your feet and do a sequence to finish a character off. The resilience skill will let you avoid getting pinned by suddenly giving you a burst of energy to widen the gap, or come on, there we go. Or in the case of a submission, it will allow you to get a burst of strength and avoid submitting.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty close to the rope. He probably could have grabbed it. Thankfully, AI usually isn't smart enough to do that. Oh. Yep, this was back in the day when it was more acceptable to attack women.
Well, if you're Ric Flair.
Well, yeah, heels.
Dirtiest
mainly.
player in the game.
Yep. There was this hilarious spot when Randy Orton was supposed to be this playboy, and so he was like going out with Stacy Keibler in character at the time, and then invited her out into the ring,
Mhm.
made a face like he was going to kiss her, so she closed her eyes,
Mhm.
and then he just RKO'd her.
Oh,